right, so I'm about to speak on marriage. Get these windows up. I'm about to speak on marriage real quick. So, because there's a couple of situations in particular that's jumping out at me right now. So we reported on the radio this morning about we had a conversation about the whole Kim and Kanye breakup, and people on the internet are talking about how we knew they wasn't gonna make it, we knew this wasn't gonna work, we knew this wasn't gonna last. Well, let me just say this. I don't think people really understand how difficult marriage is to successfully take to its completion, which is until death do us part. I don't think people fully understand, unless you've been in that shit for 15 to 18 years plus, unless you've been in it for that long, I don't think you can really understand fully how difficult it is to join with another person and stay with that person in every way that you have to be with a person. Because people look at marriage and they look at the wedding, and they look at the beautiful pictures and the vacations on Facebook and all that kind of shit, and they don't see the difficult side of it. It's hard being joined with a person for life, unless, or rather, not unless, but if you don't realize how many ways you have to be in sync with this person on how many different levels, spiritually, physically, sexually, companionship wise, friendship wise, business wise, there's so many areas in which you have to see eye to eye, or if not eye to eye, you have to be able to compromise and be able to. And the other thing is, you have to be able to give of yourself so much. Marriage is about you have to be able to sacrifice so much of yourself and your wants and your desires and your needs and your everything else in order to make it work beyond that 15, 17, 18, 20 year mark. You got to be able to eat stuff when you don't feel like eating. Eat stuff that you don't like because it's just what you got to do. You got to share things that you don't necessarily feel like sharing. You got to have sex when you don't necessarily feel like having sex. You got to be nice when you don't feel like being nice. You got to talk when you don't feel like talking. You got to listen when you don't feel like listening. You have to travel when you don't feel like traveling. You have to learn to like people that you may not necessarily like, but these are people that are in your close circle as a unit, and you have to learn how to deal with these people. Like, there's so many things, and I'm not harping on all the negative sides of marriage. I'm just saying there are things that go into it that people don't seem to appreciate when they so cavalierly say that, oh, we knew they wasn't gonna make it, we knew this person wasn't. All right, now with Kim and Kanye in particular, from the outside looking in, I can say, yeah, I felt like this was a long shot, but for the reasons of two narcissistic personalities trying to become one, the fact that they lasted for 7 years, give or take, is I think in normal people's lives, if you compare Kim and Kanye to two normal people that are out here in the normal world, living normal lives, working normal jobs, and not living in the fishbowl of being a celebrity, a super celebrity, an A-list celebrity, I would say that 7 years for those two, with their personalities, I would say 7 years for them is the equivalent of 40 years with two regular people. So I would say they succeeded. Had a bunch of kids. They seem to be fairly, I guess normal from what I can see. But to say that they didn't make it, I think people discount the difficulty of what goes into making a marriage work. And anybody that's been in it for 2 years, 3 years, yeah, you're still in the cute phase. It's still a lot. You've been married 2 years. There's a lot of shit about that person you don't even know yet. You've been married 4 years. There's a lot of shit about that person you don't even know yet. You've been married 6 years. You know, you done maybe been through a couple of little things, but it's a lot of storms y'all ain't even weathered yet. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be in it and have gone through some shit before you can say, you know, that you really know what the hell you talking about when you're saying, oh, they made it or they didn't make it. I'm just saying. Kim and Kanye, I think they made it. I think they made it. For two people that, from the outside looking in, are as dysfunctional as they are, just as humans. Kanye is obvious that he's got, you know, some issues. Kim, it's obvious if you really sit back and look at it. You know what I'm saying? She might be a tad bit more normal than him, but anybody with those narcissistic personality traits and characteristics is gonna be a difficult ass person to be around. So I would say save your opinions on marriage if you ain't married, and if you ain't been in it for longer than 15 years, keep your opinions to yourself. You don't know what the hell you talking about. By the way, I got 23 years in, and I know of what I speak. Shit ain't easy. Is it fulfilling at times? Yeah, it's fulfilling. Is it good at times? It's great sometimes. But it's difficult to live with another individual, especially in this day and age of technology and social media, where not only are you with that person when you're physically with them in the house, but you're with that person even when you're not with that person, because the cell phone and the iPad and the Facebook and everything else, you're bonded to that person 24/7. They're always in your pocket. They're always on your hip. They're always right there. There's never a time that you're not together. There's never a time that you have that luxury of just, you know, for the next 3-4 days, I just want to kind of kick it. I just want to run down to the DR and just kind of lay out on the beach and play a little golf for a few days and just kind of chill and unwind. That ain't happening when you with another person like that. So just don't be so cavalier to judge what the fuck you know about marriage when you ain't ever been there. You ain't never been through it. Keep your opinion to yourself. That's all I got to say.